weather every 10 and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
City of Missoula is severely underestimating the cost of mountain water, according to Mountain Water's president. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Monday, February 8th, 2016. Right now we have a partly cloudy sky. It's 31 degrees, going to be all the way up to a mild 42 today. Our newscast this morning sponsored by Nissan and Hyundai of Missoula. Under new management now, offering rebates, discounts, and 0% financing on a huge selection of inventory. Mountain Water Company President John Kappas recently challenged the city of Missoula's claims it'll be able to run the water system more efficiently while saving the city money. According to Kappas, who was on Talkback on Friday, the city needs to count all the costs of the mountain water acquisition, starting with the $88.6 million dollars of the fair market value, and then adding in attorney fees, statutory interests, closing costs, and capital costs. Kappas estimated a total of $124 million, but that is just getting started.
On top of that, the city had said that they believe that they needed to spend somewhere between $6 to $9 million per year for capital improvements, and so that will be ongoing borrowing that they will have to do over the next 10 years. In the projections we put together, we used the $6 million a year for 10 years, and so what principal and interest on all those costs over the next 30 years will be over $312 million.
Because of the costs, Kappas says ratepayers will pay more under city management than under management by Liberty Utilities.
There isn't the markup of the business to the fair market value like happens in condemnation. So the ratepayer has to pay that uptick in fair market value. So that's an increased cost to the ratepayer. The other thing is that we do have returns, but our returns are what we put back into the system. Not as much money will leave under private ownership as under the public ownership plan.
And the Kappas said that the costs of Missoula's acquisition are especially important because under a public municipality, these costs can be passed on to you, the ratepayer. However, a private company like Liberty Utilities is prohibited under Montana law through the Public Service Commission from passing premium costs on to ratepayers. A federal judge has denied a request to halt the planned capture and slaughter of bison migrating from Yellowstone Park. District Judge Scott Skobdal on Friday turned down an injunction sought by a wildlife advocate and a journalist who sued to gain access to the slaughter program. Federal and state officials plan to kill up to 900 bison this winter through slaughter and hunting. A Montana State University student from Anchorage, Alaska, was found dead after failing to return from a backcountry ski trip in the Highlight Canyon area south of Bozeman. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office said the girlfriend of 20-year-old Nathaniel Alex Wright reported him missing about 10:45 last Thursday night. Searchers found his body at about 6:30 Friday morning. Sheriff Brian Gutkin said it appeared Wright had an equipment malfunction that led to a series of events that ended with his death. Two of the men accused of shooting blow darts at over 20 pets in Lolo last fall appeared in Missoula Justice Court late last week. Missoula County Attorney, Deputy County Attorney Andrew Paul explains why his office ordered mental evaluations for all three suspects, Hayden Barker, Matthew Breeden, and Tucker Miller.
We requested that they undergo mental evaluations because there are studies where people who abuse animals can later down the road kind of escalate that into violence against humans. So I think that's one of the major reasons why we asked for mental health evaluations.
Paul details the possible maximum penalties for the felony charges of aggravated animal cruelty and tampering with evidence.
With the charge of aggravated animal cruelty, the maximum fine of $2,500 and a term of 2 years. Tampering with evidence comes with a maximum of 10 years and a $50,000 fine.
Barker and Breeden were released into the custody of their attorneys. The third suspect, Tucker Parsons, Miller, will be seen for the same charges on February 10th. A 22-year-old Evergreen man charged in the death of his girlfriend's 2-year-old son has reached a plea agreement. An attorney for Brandon Newberry filed a notice saying a change of plea hearing will be held February 10th. The details of the plea agreement were not filed. Newberry has pleaded not guilty, to deliberate homicide for the February 2015 death of Forrest Groeschel. An autopsy determined the boy had been hit in the stomach, causing a lacerated small intestine that slowly poisoned him. The child's mother told deputies she had left Groeschel with Newberry during the day while she worked. Newberry reported he told investigators he had been roughhousing with the boy a day prior to his death. With over a dozen deaths attributed to avalanches this winter, Steve Karkanen, director of the Western Montana Avalanche Center, details the current alert level in the Missoula area.
As of now, we've had 14 people who've died just in the month of January alone in avalanche accidents in intermountain areas, both north of us and south of us. We've been fortunate here in western Montana. We're actually calling our snowpack at moderate avalanche danger.
Looking back on the deadly urban avalanche of late February 2014, Karkanen says with climate change, El Nino weather patterns, and a lack of snowpack, there's little chance of another such tragedy.
We don't have anywhere near the snow. In fact, if you looked up on the hillside right now, you'd see grass poking up out of the snow, which is a good thing. And the elk are tromping around on that hillside up where it's steep enough to produce an avalanche, which also helps with the snowpack stability. So as of this week, there's no avalanche problem on Mount Jumbo.
68-year-old Michael Colville succumbed to injuries received in the avalanche, while her husband, 66-year-old Fred Allendorf, and two children, Phoenix and Coral Scholes Coburn, were injured. Shutting down and cleaning up the two oldest units at the Colstrip power plants in southeastern Montana would cost $130 million to $200 million. That's the estimate provided by Washington-based Puget Sound Energy, which owns half of Colstrip Units 1 and 2. The company says the two coal-fired power plants can be shuttered and dismantled for about $50 million. Cleaning up the contaminated water and coal waste at the site will take another $85 to $142 million. Missoula Police Department's on the alert for snowmobile thieves after multiple cases of theft have occurred in town. 5 machines were stolen over the course of just 3 days, starting on last Wednesday. Along with the snowmobiles, Missoula Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh said 3 trailers were also stolen.
We feel that somebody is definitely out targeting snowmobiles, and that if people do have snowmobiles on their property or stored somewhere in the city and there's access to them, they may be at risk. And so we wanted to let people know this was going on in case there were other precautionary measures that they could take to secure their property.
2 of the machines have been found, apparently in working condition, but there are a few clues as to who took them. The cases so far have occurred on the south side of town. Although 5 machines were taken, they were often taken in pairs over the course of at least 3 incidents.
Right now, they seem to be on the south end of town. We had 1 report from the 1400 block of South 4th Street, 1 report from the 600 block of Dixon, and the last one we took in was the 3100 block of Paxson. The ones that were recovered were found abandoned in the Grand Creek area.
So far, there are no suspects or even video of the snowmobiles being taken. It appears the machines are being taken along with their trailers by backing a vehicle up to the hitch, hooking up, and driving away. Anyone with information has to call Crime Stoppers 721-4444. News Talk Times 612.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Look for a few high clouds today with our temperatures warming into the upper 30s and low 40s. Overnight lows tonight will be cold as we drop into the teens. Patchy freezing fog on Tuesday. Highs warm into the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.